Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good week. I'm Brian Jones, and this is a new Discover a New You. So that's what we try and do every week. I know I'm trying for sure. So uh, I'm going to give a little bit of time for people to start joining in today because I know that we're doing this on a Friday, and normally we do this on a Monday. But as you are probably aware, if you were tuning in on Monday that we had one technical difficulty after another, so that was a little bit much to work through. But anyway, really glad to be here and glad that you're here. And I just want to say that you can use the chat, and I would really like it if you would post, your name and where you're from in the chat. And you can also use the chat to ask questions today. So I would welcome your input. You can, again, for those just joining on, please remember to use the chat, say your name and where you're from. And today, I'm really excited about today. I'm really excited because I, I'm, I, d- you know, I've from the beginning of doing this show, I've wanted to have guests on. That was the whole idea, and I haven't really been able to do it for a bunch of reasons. But now I am doing it, and my first guest is someone who I've known for a while, and I'm so excited that she's here. So I would like to bring her on, and her name is Fiona Nerian. So let me do that. Fiona.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, it's so good to see you. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy to join this.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate you doing this. So, before we get into things, I think I need to give a little bit of a backstory here as to, how we know each other. So, as everyone out there knows, if you're a heartfulness meditator, for sure you would know that I've been doing this practice of heartfulness for a really long time, like 50 years. Well, Fiona's parents, I've known since the very beginning of when I started, some 45 years that we've probably known each other. So, anyway, a number of years ago, I got to meet their daughter, who is here, Fiona, and we've kind of become friends, which has been
Yes.
great.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, it's been so great to get to know you. And as many people know, I like to meet younger people and hang out and get their fresh input and experiences, and that's what I hope to hear from you today. Is
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, your story, your life. I know you have a lot to share. And so Fiona, you and I are both we're similar in many ways. I think in that we're both really creative people. You know,
Mm.
I'm an artist. There's my guitar back there. I play music. I write. I do different things, and I know you. I've heard you post things online with you singing and playing
Mhm.
guitar, which I
Yeah,
really, yeah, like
yeah,
that a lot.
once in a
I
while.
want to see, I want to see more of that.
I know. Mhm.
And you're an artist as well, and I've seen a lot of your work. What other creative adventures are you on? What else do you do?
Um, well, this summer, for the first time, I was doing some extra work on The Gilded Age, which is an HBO series. So that was quite an experience. It was very different than anything I've ever done before because it was set in the 1880s. So I was wearing this big like gown with a corset and bustle, and it was like everyone around me was so beautiful. Um,
So, so let me interject here. So when you say extra work, I just want to clarify for people who may not know that. So you were an extra on a set is this a TV show or is it a
yeah, it's a
movie?
series on HBO, and yeah, so I'm just like in the background, but you see everything that goes on within um, the movie set, and like the directors are like screaming like pretty.
It, that's exciting, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It was very
it's so involved to film, um, a show of any kind, you know?
mhm.
So that was must have been a really fun and great experience for you, and I understand you were putting in some long hours.
Yeah, very long. They try to get you as much as they can in that time period, and they bussed us down to Philly, so we had, yeah, 2 days there, so they were filming in this big opera house, and yeah, it was very cool.
Nice. Didn't you have to leave like 3 in the morning or something like that?
Yeah, we had to wake up, like, really early, yeah, and get ready, like, it took 5 hours to get everything ready and prepared, and yeah,
Wow,
mhm,
that's great. That's great fun.
that's
Wow.
cool.
So, so of course, you know, we know each other from our shared interest in meditation and the heartfulness meditation practice, and I know that you are a trainer, as am I, in heartfulness, and so you've been meditating for a long time. And of course, your parents were meditators. So when did you start meditating?
I started when I was 17, and, I'd written to the trainer, the guide in this practice, and asked him if I could start early. He was like, "Oh, you can wait, like, 1 more year." That was when I was 16. So, so I think the age was 18 that you could start back then. Now it's a little
Right.
earlier. But, so I really wanted to because I saw my parents meditate when I was little, and I'd always try to, like, meditate with them, like, sit next to them and try to experience what they were feeling.
Nice. Yeah. Well, you know, yeah, you've probably you were just a natural at it anyway because you've been around it your whole life.
Mhm.
So, you know, when it comes to uh, meditation, when I say meditation, I guess I'm also going to include spirituality in talking about meditation. You know, being a creative person, at least for me, I found that it's so linked to the spiritual side of me. And, you know, I'm just wondering for you, how has spirituality and your creative side uh, kind of, you know, come together? Do you find them one influencing the other, one complementing the other? How does that work for you?
I do, yeah, when I tune into the energy of, like, how when I feel very creative, it's almost, like, the same as when I'm meditating, um, and you know, like that feeling and being in nature and um, it's all very similar to me. And um, I remember in college, like I was trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to focus on as like what was my art style um, and I kind of avoided what I really loved, which is like painting nature. And I was trying to figure out something else, but it was like it never felt right. And it was always like trying to fit myself in a mold that I wasn't actually a part of. And so it took me a while to actually realize like I've always been doing this naturally. I've always painted um, the like flowers I see outdoors and like landscapes um, and it was hard for me to accept that that's what I can do because it comes easily and and then it was like a key to myself like that's um, that was the connection I was missing and now it like feels the same as when I tune into my heart.
Mhm. Yeah, I know that nature, for me, was a big part of my life. I spent my early years, I was always in the woods. I was always hiking or sitting next to a stream or wading in the stream. And I'd go down to the park by myself like all the time. You know, I enjoyed being alone in nature because it was like there was a certain kind of spiritual quality and a communing, you know, that took place. Is that kind of how you feel about it?
Oh yeah, Yeah, it's like nature is like it holds you. It's like you're never really alone when you're out there. It's like there's all these like I don't know nature spirits. So it, like the trees have an energy and like the all the plants have their own sort of like buzz to them, and it makes you feel so alive. And so if I'm ever feeling like overstimulated or like I need to be alone, I'll go out into the woods or into a field and feel like so filled up from that experience. And there's also this sort of essence that like time kind of changes. Have you noticed that? Like when you're out in the woods, like you can't really tell, like 5 minutes goes by and it feels like an hour,
Yeah.
or the opposite. So
Yeah, yeah. Very, very much so. And even now, if I can't get down to the park, we kind of live in the suburbs, but I go outside and, I love clouds. I
mm,
just love clouds. And I have these sunglasses that my wife got me like, almost 30 years ago, and they're like, do something magical with the clouds. And so I will put those sunglasses on and they just like, bring out the 3D effect of the clouds. And I could just watch them and just, it's like, you're, like you say, it's like the boundary of your body kind of goes away and you
mm,
start to meld into just nature and, that vastness around us. Isn't it? It's great, isn't it? It's really,
yeah, it's amazing. Mm.
yeah.
I've got
So
to find out what those glasses are then.
I'm
Pretty
gonna
cool.
I'm gonna find out myself. Yeah, right. A lot of people want those glasses.
Yeah.
Great. So, when so I want to ask you about this. So when we first met, and you were younger at the time, but when I first met you, you were pretty timid and shy and quiet, and I just want to say that when I was young, I was so shy. I was horribly shy, and especially like in school and in high school, I was so shy, especially with girls. If a girl were to talk to me, I literally thought I was just going to die. I mean,
Oh,
I was just gonna die. I mean, that's how I felt, it was
yeah.
just and I don't think I had any self-confidence or anything, but, you know, but when I got to know you a little bit, I really did sense that there was this, you know, huge Fiona, this big, bold Fiona that was just like waiting to, you know, emerge and escape and to come out, and
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
could feel that from you. And so I'm kind of wondering, has this process been a part of, what we call finding our authentic self? Has that been what would you say?
Yeah,
Would that you say that's part of that?
I think so. Um, so I was thinking about that, and when I was little, my mom always says like I was so bright and like loud and like, but I was always like initially very quiet, and I've always had a very quiet side to me. And I think when I was little, people called it as shyness, and then I kind of embraced that, and I was like, oh yes, I'm shy, but I never really felt that that was true to myself. Like I didn't feel shy. I was very confident, but as people noticed that about me, I kind of accepted it, that I was a shy person. So I became more shy, I think,
Mm,
throughout my life and throughout like my school days. Um, but I think meditation has really helped me realize that it's not a bad thing. Like we can be introspective
right.
and not always like yeah, shy isn't being shy isn't a bad quality at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can be very in tune with yourself, and just not wanting to be like the life of, I don't know, the space, or like or just be the loudest person. Um but yeah, meditating has helped me um to grow more in tune with my inner my inner life, and um yeah, help me to feel more at peace wherever I am. And um it's helped me to feel more confident expressing myself also, and um, not have to quiet down as much.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's such a good point that you make, is that just being introspective. Sometimes there's a there's sort of and this is what I sense from you. There was this sort of a bigness in that. You
Mm,
sort of had this quiet bigness, and bigness. I'm saying in a real positive way. Like there was something, exuding out of you from that was
mm,
profound. And that sort of leads me into this next thing I'm wanting to know, is that you've not only been a meditator, but you've also been a trainer in heartfulness meditation. And being a trainer is also a responsibility, and you know it's something that becomes a part of your what can I say, sort of a giving back to the world, and to the this method itself, and helping people. So how has your experience been as a trainer of meditation, and how did that impact your life in any way? Can you talk a little bit about being a trainer?
yeah, it's been like such a beautiful gift to be able to help people find um, like peace and clarity, and like a feeling that they can go inside and like look within themselves. Um, it's been, yeah, I get a lot of feedback, and I know that it's really helping a lot of people, and it feels really good to be able to give that gift, because um, yeah, a lot of the things that make me happy are like helping people, and um, finding solutions to problems. I really like um, I like doing that, like in um, different ways, like health, and okay, like cooking and giving, like making food for people.
Oh,
Um,
that's nice. I'm
yeah.
going to remember that.
So yeah, it's very nourishing to myself to be able to um, yeah, sit with somebody and have them feel um, that peace and love within themselves.
Right. Yeah, it is definitely is a gift. And I mean, I think both of us are probably finding there's so much of a need out there right now. And I think I was going to say, especially young people, but actually that's not really true. It's just across the board. People are just really in need of um, something that fills them up from inside, you know,
Mhm.
because we can never find complete satisfaction in, strictly our material life or material things, you
Yeah.
know. Um, I mean, even as fulfilling as the creative side is, as you know, um, and it is also meditative, but there's nothing that can replace sitting down and closing your eyes, going within, and just feeling that sense
Mm.
of fullness and presence that comes, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
really amazing.
So, um, I want to mention to everybody that Fiona for the past over 2 years now, has been live on Facebook on a Facebook page called Everyone Meditates. And she's on there, I think, twice a week. Is that right?
Yeah. Wednesday and Thursdays.
Okay, Wednesday and Thursdays at 8:30 a.m.
Mhm.
Eastern Time. And Everyone Meditates is sort of an introduction to the heartfulness practice. And there's also Chris Mills and Bob Perry also are on there that do sessions. So I want to make mention of that because it would be, I feel, it'd be really great to join Fiona for a session on Everyone Meditates. You can keep that in mind if you're free at 8:30 on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Make sure that you can tune in and meditate with Fiona. So I have taken individual sittings with Fiona, and I've meditated with her on Everyone Meditates, and it's always been just a wonderful experience. So I want to, before we get into, I want to ask you where you're at now, but before we do that, I'd like to show a couple of pictures of your art and you in your natural environment. All right. So that's okay. So here you are. I love this picture, by the way. It's so nice. So here you are, of course, in nature, and you've got your mobile painting set up.
Yeah.
And so tell me about this place. Is this a special place for you?
Okay, yeah. So there's a story behind this picture,
Okay.
which is really interesting. But so I found this. I like to shop at thrift stores sometimes,
Mhm.
and I got this easel for like a really good deal, and I was so excited. So I went out and this was about 2 weeks ago, and I went to the state park, the Spa State Park in Saratoga, which is where I am now, and that's one of my favorite places to go. I always bike ride around there with my mom and sit by the river, and it's really lovely. Um,
Nice.
and so I went there, and um, this man, I was there with my boyfriend Scott, and he was like sitting by the river down below me, and this photographer was walking across the bridge and was like, "Oh, I need to get your picture. Can I take your picture?" And so he was just waiting for me to start painting, and I was sketching. And this was the last picture he took. He was like, "Oh, thank you for doing that. I'll take your portrait." So I just
Wow.
stood there, and he emailed them to me.
Oh, wow. So great. Yeah. It's a great picture. So I'm
Mhm.
going to, I want to show some of your other pieces. Let me see how I'm going to do this now. I'm going to, okay, share screen. And here's one of your art pieces. There we go. So is this from a sketch pad that you have?
It was just a watercolor pad, and I folded it in half so I could have two sides, and just looked at some of the plants that were growing next to me as I was sitting near the river. And yeah, my mom was with me that time, so we had a little nice plein air kind of sketch with watercolors.
Yeah, great. So are you liking watercolor? I mean, I know you paint in different mediums as well. Which is
Yeah,
your favorite? What's your favorite medium to work in?
um, I like all of them. I love mixing media too. Like
Oh
when I
yeah.
use watercolor, sometimes I do oil pastels on top. Um,
Mm,
that's that's something I go to a lot because it's easy to pack up and and I just need water. But I have oils in my studio, and acrylics are nice because they dry really fast.
yeah,
So yeah, I like everything.
nice, nice. Your style is certainly very impressionistic.
Mhm.
And I just want to mention something for people who are tuning in about, and this is a bit of history, but it's very interesting, is that, you know, art, back in the, you know, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, art was done in such a way that it was very, uh, they were trying to be so realistic, and so the paintings had a very sort of stiff and formal look to them. And I find it sort of interesting, and I tie it into the spiritual side too, is that right around the end of the 1800s, which is sort of when this method of meditation also sort of sprung up, um, all of a sudden, artists, and this happened in many different countries, artists suddenly started painting very differently. And what they were trying to do was, instead of doing the old stiff formal style of painting, they became very spontaneous and just tried to capture light. This is what they wanted to do. They wanted to capture light and the essence of what they were seeing. They were no longer interested in all the formality and all the stiffness, involved in. Became very alive and very free. And that is now known as, obviously, the Impressionist era, with the artists like, you know, um, Cezanne and Monet, and I mean so many others from that time period, and then Van Gogh, of course. And it was just incredible how this suddenly, it was this explosion of a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing things. And it all came about. And not only that, and Fiona, you're going to find this really interesting, but not only was it art, but at the very same time, the same thing happened with music. Music was very formal and very structured. Classical music, you'd have your sheet music, and everything was very, by the notes. But at the same time came the birth of, Dixieland jazz here in this country at the turn of the century, and which turned into jazz, and then which turned into rock music and pop music, where people were just, throwing down all the old rules and just taking their instrument and just spontaneously playing and creating this amazing new sounds. There was such it was like really a spiritual renaissance that was first came to light through the arts, through music and through painting and through writing. Suddenly there was this huge breakthrough. And I think that kind of ties back into the beginning of our conversation. We were saying how the creative side of oneself is so tied to the spiritual, right? And yeah, it's just such an incredible thing to see and look at. So let me show one more. Let me show one more of your pieces here.
That was very fascinating. Thanks for talking about that.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's see. Okay, I want to show this one. I want to know what's the deal with this. Okay, what is going on here?
That was like January, like sometime in the middle of winter, and I really wanted some color, and I feel like color is like, there's color therapy, and color has such an impact on us. So sometimes I pick out colors that will affect my mood differently, and I love complementary colors, or like opposite colors on the color wheel.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. So I had a bird's nest that I found on a walk, and then I was eating a clementine. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to set up a still life here. So I did, and it like took me a couple hours to set it up and start painting. And I actually made a video of it too. So I made a little reel kind of thing on Instagram. Like, I've been getting into those. And I feel like there's some kind of softness and beauty in these two objects together. Like, like the orange, like the clementine is unfurling, and then the nest like holds um, eggs inside of it. So
Mm,
it's like two kind of opposite feelings for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can clearly see that. They're very opposite in their textural qualities, and yet conceptually, they're the same with the round center and this circle. Yeah,
Mm.
it's great. I really like that, and I'm glad to see this picture because this is how my easel looks. It's got paint everywhere on it,
Yeah.
and yeah, you can't really have a super neat artist studio. You
Mhm.
you gotta go in there and make a total mess of things,
Yeah.
sometimes. So
Mhm.
yeah, nice. Yeah, these are some of my paintings behind me that I've
Mhm.
done over the years, and so I
Yeah.
know about the yeah, orange and blue are some of my favorite colors to work with. So
Mm. Can you talk about the one behind you again?
yeah, okay. So this one over here, this is called The Offering, and it's one of my earliest paintings. And the idea here, what this is portraying is the offering is you have a male figure, with his head bowed and in a very humble pose. And he's offering his heart in the form of a giant calla lily flower, holding it up as an offering to, the divine self. And yet the flower is in turn pouring its grace back onto him. See, so it's this cycle of that, in that immense humbleness or offering, that he's also receiver of the grace at the same time.
Mm. Yeah, that's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. So let's come around to before we meditate today. I want to come around to where are you at right now in your material life, in your worldly life? What are your current projects? What are you doing, and where do you see yourself going?
Um, so I'm feeling very inspired and kind of creative lately. Um, I think the shift in seasons always does that too for me. Um, but a couple things happened recently. I was asked to be part of this gallery that's down the street from me. And so my boyfriend Scott and I will be there doing like showing our work. And he's a photographer, so we'll have like paintings and photography in one of the walls. And yeah, this lovely woman, Viviana Puelo, is the the owner. So yeah, we're working with her, and she's very knowledgeable about art. Um, and then next year, I'm going to start curating spaces in this cafe that I work at. It's called Uncommon Grounds, which is in Saratoga. But they have 4 locations around me, so in different towns. So I'll be curating work there every month in each gallery, in each cafe. They're not galleries, but they have
Yeah.
wall space, so it's like a gallery.
Yeah. No, that's so great. So you're going to work with local artists and
Mhm.
get the displays or the art shows, and
Yeah.
probably rotate them around. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's that's great. That's a
Yeah,
really fun thing to do, and I mean, it's a lot of work too, but it's
I know.
wonderful. No, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had my own gallery, for about I think about 7, 8 years. And so I'm happy to hear you getting into that situation because it was a very rich experience for me
Mhm.
to especially on weekend nights when a lot of people would come in, and I'd take out my guitar and play guitar, and people would come in and enjoy the artwork, and it was just so nice, such a nice atmosphere and meeting
Mhm.
people. So I
Yeah.
wish you really all the best with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips or anything that
You know, you know what it is that I think what I learned is that, just, you know, being just you is who people want to know, and just, being friendly with people and as you are, and uh, letting people l- enjoy the work and enjoy your work, and let them have their own interpretations of it, you know.
Mhm.
Because very often, people would ask me, well, what was your intention? What was your meaning behind this painting? Of course, there wasn't any. I just, I just felt like this is the painting. So I would always just put it back onto them. I say, well, I'm curious as to what do you feel? You know, what do you think about this painting? And people would come up with the most fantastical stories, you know.
Mm,
So I think that's one tip I would say, is let people come up with their own interpretations, and in fact, invite them to have
yeah.
their own feeling about your work, and then it becomes even more personal to them.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Mm.
All right. So look, we've reached the first half of our hour, and we always meditate during the second half. That's a big part of this, because we talk about how we can experience that fullness inside, and experience, that presence inside that's
Mhm.
so wonderful. So today I want to invite you, Fiona, to, if you don't mind, to please conduct the meditation for us and to
Absolutely.
give the
Yes.
sitting. And
Okay.
what I will do is I'm going to just put you on the screen, and you can lead people into the meditation. And after Fiona's done, she'll say that's all, and then we'll conclude our session. So
Oh, wonderful.
I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Shall I do a relaxation first?
Yeah, yeah, yes. You know what? Yeah, as you feel it, do however you feel it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That sounds wonderful. Okay. So happy you're all joining. Um, Find a comfortable seat, and we'll get ready to meditate. So you can cross your legs or have your feet on the floor, whatever is best for your body. And we'll close our eyes gently and just allow whatever experience that comes up to be good, and everything that you experience is okay. So we'll just notice the natural rhythm of our breath and observe anything that you're feeling in your body, any thoughts in your mind. Just observe without any judgment what's occurring. And then gently wiggle your toes. And then completely relax your toes. And imagine that you're standing in some beautiful place. It could be somewhere you love to go. It could be in your imagination. All of this energy you can feel as you stand on the ground. And it moves up through your body and starts to relax your feet, and up to your ankles and lower legs. Relaxes your knees and upper legs, and up through your hips and your torso, front of your body and your back. Feel it soften in your chest and your upper back. And relax your shoulders, and down your arms, to your elbows, and then to your forearms. And then through your hands and out your fingertips. And then relax your neck muscles and your jaw. Soften your lips inside your mouth, around your cheeks and ears. Relax your temples. Your eyes are very gently closed. Relax your eyebrows and forehead and the top of your head, so that your entire body is very relaxed and present. And now we'll bring our attention down to our heart, and we'll meditate here together in silence on the light and wisdom in this space in our hearts. So I'll let you know when we end by saying that's all. Please begin meditation. That's all?
Wow. That was just an absolutely beautiful meditation.
Yes.
Didn't want to come back. Wonderful. All right. So I just want to say hello to some of the people who have been texting in. Ganesh, Saraksa, Anil, Susie, Andy, Ellie, Varati, Nandi, Ravi Kumar, Savita, Anil, Anuradha, everyone, thank you so much for for participating today. Murli, Darren, Karen, everyone's saying, so they're saying, thank you, Sister Fiona. Thank you for the lovely session. Thank you, Sister, and a beautiful meditation experience. Someone said, Sister, your smile is so divine and my heart just melts. It's so nice. So, Fiona, really just absolutely delighted that you could take time today. It's been a delight to know you and just great. So, thank you for spending the time here today.
Absolutely. I felt much better than I could have imagined. I was a little nervous, so.
Even I was a little nervous today. Great. Well, look forward to having you back again sometime for sure.
I would definitely. Yeah.
And with that, we'd just like to say goodbye, everybody. Stay with the heart, as I always say, and all the best. See you.
Bye. Thank you, Brian.
Sure.